do. Talk to us a little bit about night to night. Every night it was a battle. You're going against Prime Cole, Prime Paul Pierce, T-Mac, Ron Artest and Jack in Indiana. You know what I mean? There was every single night it was a battle at that 2 or 3 position. And speak to the competition at that time as well.
And that's what it was. Like, it was like, let's say you had to earn your key. You didn't know any other way. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we got to do it. Obviously, you hope through the draft and free agency you form your team, but
funniest part about this whole dunk is this is right after John Morant said he's done dunking.
Yeah, he said it before that.
He's like,
I'm not dunking anymore.
And then does the nastiest dunk of the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what it is. He's like, I'm not going out to dunk. That's one of those, I'm not going out to look to do a flashy dunk, but you know, while I'm up here, this is.
An old video suddenly pulled LeBron James back into a debate that many people believed had been put to rest years ago. And just as the discussion started getting louder than ever, Vince Carter stepped forward and voiced what plenty of fans were already thinking, but never expected a legend to openly say out loud.
35-something minutes, and I'm all for him playing every game. That's not the thing, but playing 35 minutes, I just felt like it was a lot.
Here's what most people are overlooking. This wasn't simply about an old clip making the rounds again. It was about the timing. By early 2025, the GOAT debate was already more intense than ever. Every statistic was being analyzed, every championship was being measured, and every weakness was being put under a microscope. Then, out of nowhere, that moment from the 2011 finals resurfaced, showing LeBron appearing to mock Dirk Nowitzki while he was clearly dealing with illness. Just like that, the discussion shifted from basketball greatness to personal character. To understand why the reaction became so massive, you have to revisit that finals matchup. LeBron had recently joined forces to create a super team in Miami after the decision, and entered the season with a level of attention few players in NBA history had ever experienced. The standard was simple: win a championship or be viewed as a disappointment. Across the court stood Dirk, calm, determined, and fully locked in. He was leading Dallas without controversy, without theatrics, and without distractions, relying solely on his game to get the job done.
Speaking of, since we're on that topic, do you remember
The $1 million?
Yeah. The phone call?
For sure.
They wanted me, you, Cole, and Bron for sure for $1 million.
And this is where things become complicated, because confidence and arrogance can look almost identical, at least until something goes wrong. Before the series was even over, there was the moment that would later become infamous. LeBron and some of his teammates were seen joking about Dirk's illness, even imitating his cough. At the time, the backlash wasn't nearly as strong as many would expect. Most people brushed it aside. Miami was still heavily favored to win, and the story kept moving forward. Then everything changed. Dirk battled through a fever, continued showing up, kept producing when it mattered most, and ultimately guided Dallas to one of the most surprising championship runs in NBA Finals history. At the same time, LeBron struggled, and suddenly that clip no longer seemed harmless. It looked bad, really bad. And even as the years passed and LeBron reshaped his public image with championships in Cleveland and later success elsewhere, that moment never completely faded away. Fast forward to 2025, and boom, the internet resurrects it all over again. Millions of views, endless reposts, and debates spreading everywhere. This time, though, fans aren't just watching the clip in passing. They're breaking it down, they're evaluating it, they're pointing to it as evidence in a much larger discussion surrounding legacy and how greatness is ultimately remembered.
It wasn't like, oh yeah, we got to do it. Obviously, you hope through the draft and free agency you form your team, but
Here's what most people are overlooking. This wasn't simply about an old clip making the rounds again. It was about the timing. By early 2025, the GOAT debate was already more intense than ever. Every statistic was being analyzed, every championship was being measured, and every weakness was being put under a microscope. Then, out of nowhere, that moment from the 2011 finals resurfaced, showing LeBron appearing to mock Dirk Nowitzki while he was clearly dealing with illness. Just like that, the discussion shifted from basketball greatness to personal character. To understand why the reaction became so massive, you have to revisit that finals matchup. LeBron had recently joined forces to create a super team in Miami after the decision, and entered the season with a level of attention few players in NBA history had ever experienced. The standard was simple: win a championship or be viewed as a disappointment. Across the court stood Dirk, calm, determined, and fully locked in. He was leading Dallas without controversy, without theatrics, and without distractions, relying solely on his game to get the job done.
If I could go at LeBron and AD, I could go at anybody and everybody falls in line. Oh, they have to fall in line. Because if I could go at the best player, I could go at guys who don't play much and expect the world from these guys, because I expect the world from.
So, when Vince Carter was asked about the resurfaced clip in a private conversation, there was no hesitation, no carefully crafted response, no attempt to dodge the subject. He kept his comments straightforward. He spoke about how Dirk battled through circumstances that many players wouldn't even try to play through. He pointed out that Dirk never relied on attention or headlines to validate who he was as a player. Then he delivered the statement that stayed with everyone. When you laugh at someone fighting through pain, it reveals more about you than it does about them. He never even had to mention LeBron by name. Everyone understood exactly who he meant. And that's why the comment landed differently. It wasn't emotional, it wasn't a rant, it was measured, composed, and honest, the kind of statement that spreads quietly at first, but becomes more powerful every time someone hears it. This is where things become complicated, because now it isn't only fans discussing the situation anymore. Now it's players. Now it's people who actually lived through that era, who understand the culture of the game and know what respect looks like at the highest level. And when those voices begin leaning one direction, the narrative can change quickly. At the same time, LeBron remained silent. No tweets, no interviews, no direct response. And that silence didn't help. For many observers, it only intensified the discussion, because LeBron has built a reputation for controlling narratives and speaking when moments matter. So when he stays quiet, people start reading into it. Here's the part nobody is discussing. Silence can sometimes echo louder than words. Fans began asking why the moment wasn't addressed. Why wasn't it explained? Why was there no acknowledgement of growth or reflection? And when those questions aren't answered, they don't fade away, they multiply. Meanwhile, more players from that generation quietly defended Dirk's character, not by openly attacking LeBron, but by sharing memories, posting clips, and reminding fans how Dirk conducted himself throughout his career. The support wasn't organized, it was simply authentic.
And that's where the bigger picture begins to emerge, because this conversation goes beyond a single clip or a single remark. It's about two completely different philosophies toward the game. Dirk built his legacy through steady excellence, loyalty, and perseverance. LeBron built his through dominance, influence, and control of the narrative. Both paths produced greatness, but moments like this remind people that greatness is often judged in different ways. This is where younger players often misunderstand things. They assume winning erases everything. But it doesn't. A player can win championships, break records, become a global superstar, and still have moments that people revisit years later. Moments that don't perfectly match the image they've created. And that's exactly what's happening now. That brief clip, only a few seconds long, is suddenly being used to question something much larger. Not LeBron's talent, because his talent is beyond dispute, but his mindset in that moment, his approach, his respect for the game. And when you add Vince Carter's perspective to the discussion, those questions naturally carry more weight. Meanwhile, the NBA continues moving forward. While this debate gains momentum, other storylines are developing across the league. A new generation of stars is stepping into the spotlight, building legacies of their own.
Players like Luka and Jokic are redefining what it means to lead a franchise. And interestingly, they're doing it in a way that many people feel resembles Dirk's style more than LeBron's. Here's the part nobody is talking about. The league is evolving once again. The next generation is paying attention to all of this. They're watching how moments are remembered. They're watching how respect is earned. And they're seeing how quickly public narratives can change. Whether they realize it or not, they're learning from it. This is where things become dangerous, because history has a habit of repeating itself. Players who allow arrogance to creep in, who lose sight of the importance of respect, eventually get humbled. It's never a question of if, it's a question of when. And that's the message Vince Carter seemed to be pointing toward. Not only about LeBron, but about the game itself. Basketball always has a way of balancing the scales. You can't outsmart it. You can't outtalk it. The only thing you can do is respect it. At the end of the day, LeBron's legacy remains one of the greatest the sport has ever seen. That isn't changing. What may be changing is the way people discuss it, analyze it, and compare it to others. Because legacy isn't only about what you win, it's also about how you win. It's about how people remember you when everything is over. Right now, because of that resurfaced clip and Vince Carter's comments, that discussion has become a lot more complicated. So the real question now is this: was Vince Carter right to speak up, or is this situation being blown out of proportion simply because LeBron's name carries so much weight? Does one clip really deserve this much attention in a career filled with greatness? Or does it reveal something deeper that fans can't ignore? Because one thing is certain, this debate isn't going anywhere. And the more people continue talking about it, the more that moment refuses to disappear.